Wait for it. Wait for it. There you go. Oh my god. Greetings everyone. My name is Stark, and this is the Evan Studios weekly podcast. The date is February 19, 2025, and not February 12 as it was shown before. And as usual, we expected we had some technical difficulties. And what will be of the Evan Studios weekly podcast if we didn't have a little bit of those? I actually started talking right away, but then I realized that not only the image was wrong, the mic was also not projecting any sound. So yay! So as usual, let's get right on the roll call. Foster, Ariane, and Shortcut seem to be in chat today. Shortcut says I'm on time for once. Well, it's kind of late for us today. It's almost 8 p.m. But we had some stuff that we had to do before. So we couldn't be here at 7 p.m. GMT as we usually are. So yeah, that's why today we are going to do it a little later. To be honest, this week I don't have a lot to talk about. I was kind of hoping that people gave me feedback on a lot of the stuff that we've been releasing. But I have to be honest, this week, while everything is looking incredibly peachy for Journey Abroad, things are not looking so good for Bloodlust. Turns out we still don't have any gameplay done. And obviously we're going to explain in the patch why is there not a lot of gameplay. But this is something that is going to happen when you start seeing games being built from the ground up. For Bloodlust we have a new bust system. I can actually try and show that so you guys can understand. But mainly I've been doing mostly maps, dealing with the soundtrack and whatever. And the CG team has been focusing on busts. There's a lot of characters that are going to be appearing from the get-go. And there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to need community opinions on, like the appearance of the sprites and whatnot. We have a sprite system for Journey Abroad that a lot of people like the way that sprites looked. We're still working on those. But for Bloodlust, we are going for a kind of a different style of sprite. So I kind of want to take this podcast. It's going to be a short one, but I'm going to take this one to kind of show like the differences in development from one game to another, and maybe try to explain the differences between both games. So for Journey Abroad, in terms of the busts, we have a system very similar with Fleeting Iris, where all the characters have about the same height. So the difference in height is not shown when in the dialogue. You only see it during the anti-scenes and whatnot. Else, some characters are going to look like incredibly small when compared to some other characters. Like Melvin is, is quite wide. Dan will be someone that will take like half the screen. Jack is actually supposed to be tall. What's his face? The guy from the hospital route, which I constantly forget his name. I have a feeling it starts with S. Man, I constantly forget this dude's name, and I don't know why. And the reason why is because I changed his name like 3 times during development. Actually, at some point it was supposed to be called like Flint, and then that ended up being the name of that one cop. Scott. Jesus, I think it's Scott. I'm talking about Scott. Yeah, Scott. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, that guy changed name like 3 times during development. I think we actually ran one of the names for a while and then changed it on a later patch. So those characters will look like incredibly tall in game, which will make characters like Ayame have like very small busts, and we don't want that for obvious reasons. We want to see as much as we can, and that definitely happens in Journey Abroad, where our main character is actually quite tall. He's supposed to look close to 187 centimeters, which is gonna end up being like, I don't know, like 6 foot, between 6'2" and like 6'3", I guess. And the other characters look, around 170 centimeters, like the regular height for most girls. So yeah, if we give them like, if we give their busts like a relation difference, some characters are going to look like incredibly small. However, in some anti-scenes that I haven't spoiled yet, and I don't plan to, you definitely can tell the difference. Actually, you know what? Just so that this podcast isn't like incredibly small, and it feels like we didn't do nothing, I'm actually going to I'm gonna get out of off my way, and I'm going to do something that I rarely if ever do, and I'm going to spoil something. And I just need to open Photoshop for a little bit here because I need to censor the censorable part. And today we're going to show a few images in development, which is obviously going to spoil the development of Bloodlust. But, you know, basically we're just doing a bunch of back office garbage, like scripts and stuff like that. And yeah, that stuff is the type of stuff no one notices until it's done. Wait, why is this? This is the wrong one, I'm pretty sure. I think I fixed this later. Yep, this is not my. This is original size, right? There you go. Oh, I even forgot we had this one. There we go. Let me just open this in Photoshop and then remove the part that needs to be removed. And then we'll have a little spoiler for you guys. Let me just censor this incredibly, and I'll give you guys an idea. Let me just censor this a lot. I can't even censor. I'll have to like literally block it. And this isn't even like, because she technically on this one she has like one of those sneakers that have like really high heels, like the old style female Converse sneakers that have like, I don't know, like a 6-inch high, no, not 6 inch, like 3-inch high heel, so to speak. It's the sole, the whole sole is like super big. But let me just add this image right here to spoil you guys a little bit. What were you about to ask, Fossern? Because I wasn't looking at the chat. Sorry, my throat is a little bit off today. So this is what I'm talking about. And she's shorter than this. She has those old style. They're called like eye tops or whatever they're called, but the female ones, they have, yeah, kind of like this. Imagine this. Let me just translate this to a picture. Imagine this, but kind of like pink. So during the entire scenes, you'll be able to tell the difference between. Let me just take a second look at the picture, make sure nothing is that shouldn't get censored, but I don't think so. So this is the idea. She has like some of those on. Do I need to confirm the image or no? I think it's good. I think you guys can see it, right? Yeah, you guys can see it. So this scene obviously happens way down the road. We're talking like end of the year, best case scenario. We will have this scene in the game. I think it's easy to say where this is going, so to speak. And this during the entire scenes, you will be able to tell more or less the disparity in height between characters. But you know, during the dialogues and the busts, you know, and I picked this one because you can see a character standing next to each other, and obviously doesn't, you know, most hentai scenes that we have already we can't share on YouTube. Also, I don't want to spoil them, so you guys will have to wait for those. But this is an example, something that is taking us quite some time to do for Bloodlust, is that we are going with a system that we never did before, and paneling this system, it takes a little longer than it takes So I'm gonna use Eve as an example because she's one of the favorite characters from everyone, and I'm going to use her spy outfit, which is one of the least revealing ones. And this is just to give you an idea of how much stuff we can do with Eve. So I'm gonna start saving right from here, and this is only gonna take me a second, and you guys going to see what. Oh no, these images are huge, so this is gonna take me a little bit more than a second, but it's a system that we feel like it will look good. Oh yeah, well, this one, if it's on glasses, obviously makes sense if she has glasses on. Might do a little change here. Oh no, never mind, not this one. This one. This is gonna give you an idea of some of the stuff, and I won't do all of them, else we will be here till tomorrow. I will be here saving images. This will give you an idea, and this is just a few of them, but this, something that we're going to have in Bloodlust that we I think I've spoiled this in the previous podcast, but you guys never got to actually see the images. So basically, this is the idea at hand. We're gonna have something like this. Why isn't this in front of everything else? Give me a second. Why isn't this showing up? This is weird. Why isn't this? Oh, I see why this is. It's because the image is huge, and yeah, I knew the image was big, but what if I right click and I fit to screen? There you go. So this is an example of what we're gonna do. The image was already showing. My problem was that it's just because of how big it was. If it's centered, you wouldn't see because of all the gap on the left. So same thing here. Let me just fit to screen. You see, that's just a small change in the arm, but some of them are a lot bigger differences, and depending on how the character is expressing, obviously here I'm using the same expression for both, but depending what the character is saying, this type of system is going to make the characters feel a lot more expressive. Like the emotes are going to make the character feel a little bit more like realistic, like an actual dialogue is being had, instead of when the character just stands there looking happy and they never change. For Bloodlust, we are using a different system where the characters actually, their arms move, the characters are a little bit more expressive, so to speak. And obviously like I was saying, the faces right now probably don't match what the bodies are doing, but I promise that when the characters are actually going through a dialogue and whatnot, there's going to be a better match to what a character looks like. I want to show you what we can achieve with this, so I'm going to pick one of my favorite ones, which is from Jazz. There's an expression I like a lot from her, which is the shock emotion. I'm going to panel this right quick to show you guys. I just need to grab one that works. I think this one does. If you guys give me just 1 second, I'm gonna show you what I mean. Yeah, this right arm, left arm, and now I just gotta look at the face, and I just gotta give her a shock face, kind of like this. Yeah, this is perfect. Let me just name this and ready to share with you guys. Let me take this one out because it actually looks very similar to the other one. Pull this to the side and try to fit Jazz in there. I hope you guys are enjoying the look of the characters. So let's add Jazz in there, and this gives you an idea what I mean, that when the face matches the rest of the expression. This is like a perfect example from Jazz. Let me just put fit the screen, and this is, when you have the body match the expression, you actually have like shock, you have or look like, and this is definitely going to increase like the immersion. It's actually going to look like the characters are more alive. I feel like, especially for Fleeting Iris, when we had Ayame just standing there for a while, it felt like, that I don't like too much static on the screen. It feels like you're just reading text and there's nothing happening. And I feel like if the characters look more lively during dialogues, the dialogues are actually going to look better in general. But this, obviously this takes time to draw, and worse yet, takes a lot of time to panel. And we're going through that time where we're basically just adding a bunch of characters. I haven't spoiled it yet, but we already have Eve's boyfriend. We have a bunch of new characters. We have Brooke's boyfriend. I already spoiled Brooke last week. We already had the principal done. We did the landlord. So yeah, at this point in development, we're just basically creating a lot of busts. We're creating a lot of back office stuff. We're creating a bunch of menus and whatnot. And yeah, given that we only had the month of February to work on the game, which take the weekends away, it gives you like, I don't know, like 15 days to work on the game. Yeah, we couldn't do a lot of actual gameplay, but this is part of development, and we said that we were going to keep everyone involved in the development. And come Tuesday, we're going to have a patch with everything that we have. We're going to show you a bunch of maps. We're going to show you a bunch of menus that we've been working on. The sprite system. I actually want to show that to you guys. So for Bloodlust, the sprites are slightly different from the ones that we have in. Wait, do we already have them here? Where did I save them? What the hell? Give me a second. I need to find the sprites. So basically, there's a lot of stuff that we want to do different. We don't want to do just like the Western version of Bloodlust. The Western version of Journey Abroad. We don't want to have like the same game. We want to try different systems for both. We don't want it to seem like same assets, different story, so to speak, if that makes sense. And that's kind of like what a lot of other devs are doing in terms of when they have multiple games. It feels like the same game but different story, and we don't want to do that. Especially since for Journey Abroad we're using Scarlet Ends art, and obviously there's people that are also using Scarlet Ends art. So we need to find a way to detach ourselves from them to show that our product is better. And yeah, we believe that we are some of the best developers in the game right now, and there's a lot of things that we need to do different to show that we are. You can't just talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. And yeah, this is the system that we are thinking of using for Journey Abroad in terms of like movement, in terms of the sprites. Obviously we're going to leave it for our supporters to decide if they like these sprites more than they like the ones in Journey Abroad. I know that the wide spread reaction to them, is that the right way to put it? Well, the general consensus was like the sprites look good and people like the sprites from Journey Abroad. I'm going to give these ones a spin on the first batch of Bloodlust, and I'm going to see if people actually enjoy the sprites. I feel like the Eve one looks really good. We haven't ordered any more sprites on this style. Like I said, we're kind of waiting on you guys to give us some feedback on a lot of this stuff, because we're making this game for you guys. So since you guys are our supporters, we really depend a lot on feedback to see if you guys like some stuff or not. Personally, I feel like everything that we have been delivering so far, in terms of like the outfits, in terms of the sprites and whatnot, people really enjoyed. In Bloodlust, in Journey Abroad, people like the soundtrack, people like the sprites, people like the characters, their design and whatnot, and we're always trying to deliver something that we believe that our supporters enjoy. And Bloodlust obviously is no different. It's obvious how much impact the podcast had on the decision of Eve's spy outfit. And we haven't done Jazz's spy outfit yet. We have done a bunch of other stuff, other characters first, because we were trying to do enough characters to where we could have like a playable patch on Bloodlust. But there's a lot of sending stuff back. And yeah, we don't have a lot of time left. We're just trying to we're gonna stay the course, keep doing our job, keep getting up in the morning, keep working on the maps, keep working on the menus, keep doing our stuff. And when the time comes, we're going to deliver everything that we have. That was the plan, and that is going to stick. We're going to stick to the plan. Hopefully people realize how much work is into stuff, because there's definitely a lot of how to put it, there's definitely a lot of negativity behind, like, Isaac. I was talking to Isaac today, and Isaac said, bro, like, it pisses me off that I'm doing all this work preparing for the battle system, preparing all the scripts for this and this and that, and people don't get to see a lot of the work and a lot of the hours that we put into the game, because they only see the final product. And he was even talking about actually doing like podcasts himself, and I was like, listen, in theory that's a great idea. The problem is, you slip a nipple on YouTube, you get banned right away. So you can like probably try to do something on Picarto or whatever. You accidentally slip a nipple on YouTube, you're gone. You say something that can be understood on a different way, gone. But he actually was considering, like, he was giving the idea we should stream this amount of work, because in our studio, believe it or not, for Bloodlust, just for Bloodlust, there's 4 people working on the game full time, plus a bunch of other stuff that we outsource, such as music and whatnot. I'm constantly doing maps, menus, creating assets, paneling stuff, doing a bunch of stuff. Isaac is making the events, making some of the scripts, is porting them to our game. We have the CG team constantly like drawing the outlines, coloring and whatnot. So at all time there's 4 people constantly working on the game, but then what you get in terms of like volume might not seem as much as other games or whatever, because they use 3D CG for this. The maps are generic. The music is like RPG Maker stock music and whatnot. And obviously that takes a lot of time out of development. You can just, a single person can make an RPG Maker game. I already explained how I could teach you guys how to make a game on your own. You can literally grab AI nowadays. You can make the eventing. It doesn't have to look good. It just needs to be functional. Especially if you do like a linear game. There obviously things get a lot more complex when you release a character into a city, and each door that she interacts with, each character that you interact with, needs to understand that you're at a certain point in a game. A character needs to look a certain way, talk to people. They need to respond a certain way. All of this gets incredibly convoluted down the road when you play like a free roam game like Fleeting Ares. To the extent that Fleeting Ares has free roam, it gets incredibly convoluted in terms of design. But if you make a simple game with RPG Maker assets, with RPG Maker stock music, you use AI, which is super fast for scenes, and you don't animate, and you just have the character standing there and whatnot, I guarantee you can make a game on your own and take far less time than we do. But all the detail that goes into our games, it's something that oftentimes is not appreciated or is not understood. And that's why Isaac was saying we should start streaming all our work so that people understand the amount of work that goes into something. And to a certain extent, I agree. But I do believe that people will look at whatever we put out on Bloodlust and realize they did this in 15 days. Yeah, this game is going to be good. And same for Journey Abroad. We had some stuff done from behind, but like I'm really proud of what we did in the time period that we did. And now knowing that we have another month and we have to prepare what is going to be like the public demo for Journey Abroad, and that it's the one that we are going to give all the publishers to share, that we are going to ask our fellow devs to share. I'm looking forward to put out something that I know it's going to be amazing, and definitely getting people involved in the development process of the game. I personally like it, but obviously people that are expecting, just gameplay and whatnot are probably going to be a little disappointed. But you can't please Greeks and Trojans at the same time. So it is what it is. Vincent Perino, thanks. Nice to see you in chat, man. First time I think I see you here. He asked, Bloodlust technically takes place in the same city as Fleeting Iris. Well, all our games take place in the same city. It's Evan City. It's kind of like the background of our. It's kind of like the background of our universe. So Fleeting Iris is part of the Olansi Chronicles universe. We have two universes. Let me hide all this. Apparently I can do it like that. If you look at the top of our screen, you see, oh well, it doesn't say there. Oh, actually Fleeting Iris does. Actually Bloodlust also does. Journey Abroad doesn't, but Journey Abroad plays out in a universe called the Dreamville Saga. And basically all the games in Dreamville Saga happen in the same world, and they follow kind of like a sequence. As if you look at the top of the screen, below the logo for Fleeting Iris and below the logo of Bloodlust, you will see Olansi Chronicles. Basically, all the games that happen during Olansi Chronicles are tied up to each other, like the storyline and the characters all exist in the same world at the same time. Now, Fleeting Iris, in terms of gameplay, is the simplest one, which was our learning process. Fleeting Iris was basically us just trying to get launched into the video game world. We wanted to use our expertise at the time. Obviously, we've grown a lot since then, but we wanted to see how we could what we could do. And we created a game that was basically just a slice of life, NTR, free roam. All the games that are going to come from that, which is Bloodlust, which is Crimson Dawn, which is Night Eternal, all of them happened in the same city at the same time. And not only we're going to have cameos between all the characters from all the games, you are going to see some choices that you make from previous characters, from characters from previous games, have direct impacts on what happens in future games. And you already seen cameos from Eve and Jazz in Fleeting Iris, and obviously that storyline will also take place. Well, depending on your choices, but depending on your choices, they are also going to take place in Bloodlust. And all the future characters, it's also going to play out like that. Basically, there's a story happening behind the scenes on all of these games. In Bloodlust, there's going to be in Fleeting Iris, you kind of get an idea of what's happening with the drugs and the supernatural stuff happening behind. In Bloodlust, you're going to take a closer approach to to what's actually happening. In the third game, you are actually going to see what causes it, and the fourth game is the only one that doesn't happen at the same time as the other ones. It happens right after. So basically, there's a zombie apocalypse, and the fourth game is a game where it plays. It actually doesn't play quite like anything. It's like you're a survivor. You're gonna have to basically get out of the city, but to do so, you will be able to do it on your own, or you'll be able to like join communities. You'll have to like create bases. You will have to raid other people's bases. You will have to search here and there. And basically, the last game is going to be kind of like surviving in a post-apocalyptic scenario, and do whatever you need to do to survive. And all these games are part of the Alnessia Chronicles. That's the whole storyline behind it. Now, for Dreamville Saga, there's obviously like a storyline also happening in the back. We're kind of still writing it. We have the gist of it, but there's always stuff that we can add to create like a bigger impact. I love what we have so far, but there's more room to like hint to what's happening. Because right now there's a bunch of stuff that is going to happen that is going to be, oh, this is probably associated with that. But in the end, we want this this looming storyline to actually be present in the game a lot more than actually being referenced every now and then. Obviously, the game initially is going to be about meeting characters and about, it's going to be kind of like a slice of life. It's going to be like a real life simulator. You need to go to school, and you need to go to get a job, and you need to acquire some value, and then depending on the characters that you meet, they will, you'll be able to be with characters that care more about you having money, or care more about you being academically achieved, or by the way you look. Some characters are going to be easy to get with, some characters are going to be harder, but it's definitely going to play essentially like a real life simulator. And we want to create like real experiences, like you're talking with real people. I want people to be emotionally invested in the game. And yeah, there's also some, considering it's Evan City, technically it's a different storyline, but we are using the same city, and there's room for a few cameos. Who knows if Eve might make her way into Journey Abroad? We already know that Ayami is going to make her way into Journey Abroad, especially if you played the first patch. Ayami was teased there, so yeah, because I know that our characters also get attached to the characters, so we reuse them, because it's hard to just be like, okay, we're done with Fleeting Iris and we're done with Ayame, it's gone, right? And that's something that we are going to be incredibly sad if for whatever reason the studios have to close, or if we never get to do Fleeting Iris 2. It's a character that is removed out of our lives. The game is done and the story is done. It's over, and we will never be able to interact with that character again. It's kind of like when an anime that you really like just ends, you're never able to connect with that character once again. You go back, you rewatch it and rewatch it, but you know that you will never see that character again. You will never see new adventures, and that's why we like to the characters that the fans are more attached to, we like to bring them back, because I know that people have grown like emotionally attached to some characters, and we like to bring them back, and we like to let people enjoy spending time with that character once again. And for Bloodlust and Journey Abroad, we want to make it so that those experiences are even richer, and especially on Journey Abroad, since the style is a little bit more Western style hentai, instead of the typical goofy, filled with gags type of Oriental hentai, which is typical from what you see coming from Japan and whatnot. It's a little bit like more lighthearted. It's kind of like goofy. The reasons for why things happen are not always like believable. It's like, oh, I caught you smoking, so if you don't have sex with me, like it's a different style, and we try to draw and write in that style. For Journey Abroad, we're going to try and make the connections feel more real. We're going to try and make the characters feel more realistic, like you're actually dealing with real characters, with real personalities, with real traits, and the way you're going to act in order to be with those characters is going to force you to recognize those traits. The characters are going to ask you questions, and there's no general right answer. Like, what one character might be like, oh, you said this, so I like it. A different character might not enjoy it. If you are on a predicament and you try to like argue your way out of if you try to argue your way out of the conflict, some character might enjoy it, and if you try to like brute force it or fight your way physically out of or out of the same conflict, a different character might not enjoy it as much. So basically, building your character is going to be essential to be able to get with all the characters, and eventually you are. It just depends on how fast you do it, depending if you cater to them or not. But making so that these relationships are real is a big part of what we want to do with Journey Abroad. So yeah, I hope this answered your question in abundance. Foster asks, just a little curious, how is Eve introduced to the latex outfit? Basically, that's her spy outfit. That's there's a mission where so first she's going to meet a character to acquire some tips on the whole drug business. And then he gives her the information. He trades the information for something, and it's the something also is established in game. You need to decide, and then you go to whatever place this is, which is might be I kind of don't want to spoil it, but let's say you go to this location that is involved in the creation or the spread of the drugs. Obviously, one of them is the university, but there's a few other locations that are thematic, and I just don't want to say those locations because we're going to spoil it. Because just saying this place and be like, oh, if you go to this place, you might have to disguise initially as whatever. And some of them are places that you have already visited in Fleeting Iris, and some of them are not. But basically, when Eve goes on a mission, she basically can summon a spy suit out of nanotechnology, which is on her wristbands, kind of like. This the golden wristbands that you see, they summon a suit out of nanotechnology. This is the best way to so the reason why we're doing this the reason why we're doing, what am I moving? The wrong thing apparently, but the reason why we're doing this like this, can I just do it since we're going to be talking about this? Oh my god, can I please? Can you just let me? There we go. Kind of like this. So, the reason why we're doing this is it's purely mechanical. Okay? It was just an idea that occurred to me later down the road. As people know, we were dealing with some issues between making the outfit look realistic versus making the outfit look sexy, and being able to strip Eve quickly, which is important for the purpose of the game. So we need to make something where people can strip her out of the outfit, but then making it that Eve tries to like put the outfit back on awkwardly in the middle of a battle. It doesn't, like, within fantasy there's like way too much fantasy, and it just feels completely unrealistic that the character will be like, oh, let me try and do this. Or so the thing is, if we do it like this, the outfit can get damaged, stuff can happen mid-battle, and there's going to be consequences from stuff happening mid-battle, and then you will be able to like repair your suit or summon an entire new suit from your bracelets, but that can be kind of like OP, where you can actually keep summoning your suit. So basically we're going to give it a cooldown, and then depending on a multitude of factors, the cooldown might go higher or might go lower, so yeah, that was the way that we figured would be the best for the game, where she can actually look sexy and she can actually keep resummoning the outfit in case you kind of want like skip the dirtier scenes in the game or whatever. But yeah, this is just to give you an idea. She will also be able to summon weapons from her bracelets, and basically, depending on how strong the weapon is, it's going to have like bigger cooldown or lower cooldown. Some weapons might be piercing, some weapons might be armor breaking, some weapons might be whatever, right? And depending on the different weapons that you pick up and that you find, or that you unlock throughout the game, they are going to have like bigger cooldowns and whatnot. So basically, we're going to try and build a super cool battle system out of that, and obviously keeping in mind the biggest part of the game, which is obviously the anti-scenes and how enemies are going to be able to interfere with your outfits and whatnot. So yeah, obviously we want to keep something that is minimalistic, that looks incredibly sexy, but we are able to like put back on. A lot of questions apparently happen. Sounds good, and yeah, I've been here for a bit. I usually just watch the videos instead of the live. Yeah, a lot of people do that. The live obviously it's a very awkward time for a lot of people. Aaron Niles, I think it's Aaron Niles. Sorry, I have rhinosinusitis, so it acts up at the end of the day. Love Fleeting Iris so much. I hope you continue making games like this. Me too, on both accounts. I also love Fleeting Iris a lot, and I do hope I continue to make games like this. Ariane's just spoiled. Fawcett says, so she will be introduced to the outfit. For instance, at the very beginning, she has an old loose type outfit, and again, so that she will have to wear a new outfit-ish. No, basically, so the idea is that the idea is that Eve's outfit usually serves most spies, but they are not as blessed in the front as Eve is. So usually that type of thing just buttons up all the way up. It's just that Eve can't because she's she's big, and at some point she felt weirded out by it, but then she like kind of like grew into it because she can use she knows she's a woman, she knows she's a beautiful woman, and that she can and that she can use her sexuality to her advantage as a spy. She takes that on a very natural way. Yeah, Aaron said it's not a spoiler, it's just common knowledge. Yeah, it is common knowledge. Listen, if you start guessing, you're probably going to guess a lot that happens. And I can spoil it, but this is one of those moments where I know, I just cannot confirm or deny, or else I'm going to be spoiling a lot of what's going to happen throughout the game. And I want you guys to try and figure it out for yourselves. So there's definitely like, if you have played and paid attention to Fleeting Iris, you probably know some of the spots where the spies are going to be at. You probably know some of the characters that are going to appear in the game, places like the slums, the guy I am his father and whatnot. So and yeah, she's already familiar with latex suit. Jasmine has a similar one, but it kind of has like a skirt and the hoodie and whatever. It's gonna look cool. So yeah, it's always a fine line between doing something realistic and sexual, but obviously we have to make the game super sexy. We could make like Eve have a bigger outfit, and then she starts wearing a closer one as she looks, but it feels like it feels like contrived to do that. I'm feeling so much slurrier, let me just put something a lot more. For the type of game it is, it doesn't make a lot of sense to us. It just feels like, just embrace the sexuality, just embrace the fact that it's sexy from the get-go. If you go and try and justify everything, it becomes very unjustifiable. And like I said, this is Oriental style hentai. It's kind of supposed to look like the Japanese style hentai, and you don't have to like justify everything. In the Western style, you might be looking for a more realistic type reasons for things to happen. You expect more dialogue. You expect characters to I don't know, like nowadays. I mean, I'm sorry, but there's so many women are so promiscuous. It definitely wasn't like that in my days, but you know, you're gonna have that too. You're gonna have characters that are more promiscuous, and you are going to have characters that value themselves more. I'm not here stating that one is better than the other, but you know. Also, good question. Also, not sure if this has been asked or answered in the past, but do we play as both of them or primarily Eve? So the goal, technically, is that you play 50-50 each. Either you're controlling both or you're controlling one of them at a certain time, and you supposedly have as much Eve as you have Jazz. This, in theory, it's kind of like democracy and socialism. It technically works on paper, but I'm not going to pretend that I don't have a certain bias towards Eve. Which means there might not be, like, it's going to be close-ish, but Jazz might not be represented as much as Eve. Like, there might be an inclination, like a 55-45 or a 60-40 towards Eve. I don't know. Like, obviously, if people feel Jazz more than Eve, like, I'm cool with that. If people ask to see more of Jazz, I'm obviously cool with that. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm not gonna pretend I also don't like the images, that I don't like the characters, that I don't feel like at least a little bit invested. I like Eve a lot. It's one of the characters that because, believe it or not, all the characters that you see, they were design is a poor way to put it, because obviously the CG team designed them, but they were idealized by me. All of the characters that you see, from Journey Abroad to Fleeting Iris to Bloodlust, all the characters that you see, that means Amber, that means Scarlet, that means Ayame, that means Eve, Jazz, all the characters that you see, I've idealized them. Everything that you see, from skin tone to color of the eyes to how the hair looks, the color of the hair, how big are their breasts, how big is their booty, how tall they are, everything that you see from the characters, obviously the artists are going to make the biggest impact, especially because I've worked with Tiger Lyle and Muko for so long. They don't get like 100% what I want, but they get very close. So at this point, when I tell them this is what I want, like this, and this, especially when it comes to like the main characters, usually they give me something that is very approximate to what I idealized, to the image that I had in my head. And when I picked Ayame, everything that I picked for her, I wanted to have like this kind of Asian style. I want her to wear this in this color. I want her eyes to be this color. I want her to be this tall with this skin tone, whatever. I had the goal, and my goal for Ayame, she initially started with far smaller breasts. It's just people kept going, you know, that gif, like bigger. Well, that's what happened to Ayame. People kept asking for bigger breasts, and now Ayame is like what people usually consider the best size breasts. Obviously, it's not everyone, but it's the majority. And my goal for Ayame, every character had a goal. My first goal was that they all looked different, because the goal with Fleeting Iris and then broader through our games is that there is something for everyone, and that goes from the Shota, that goes from the bestiality, that goes from everything. I didn't love writing everything that I did for Fleeting Iris, but I was trying to make sure that there was something for everyone. So when people judge Fleeting Iris as a whole, that's fine, but Fleeting Iris was never supposed to be judged as a whole. As a game, if you just play one route, you probably have more gameplay in Fleeting Iris that you have in many other games. Many other games. So the goal with Fleeting Iris was that you had something for everyone. Like you're going to relate more to one route. Oh, you're looking for family route? There you go. You're looking for swinging. There you go. You're looking for this dirtbag, ugly fat boss. There you go. Right? And this was the goal for Fleeting Iris. And when we created Ayame, the original goal was, let's make her a kind of generic ultimate girl next door. So her hair, we had like two choices. It was either black or brown, because we wanted to do something that it was not too in your face. Because Eve is the classic MILF bombshell. Big breasts, curvilineous, super thick, blonde, like piercing blue eyes, blonde hair. Like, it's a type, right? And Jazz will be like this sporty, redhead, fiery and whatnot. Like, the design of the character is part of their personality, right? And that was the goal when making all the characters in for our games, was we want each character to look the part. And when you look at our characters from the Elance Chronicles, all of them have a different color, or usually have a different color hair. They have like a different type of body. So Jazz is the athletic. Ayame is kind of like the ultimate girl next door. Eve is the classic bombshell, blonde bombshell. Where Luna, which is coming out in our third game, as the blue eye with the ponytails, and she looks kind of like an introvert with a very like petite body. And for the last game, we have Melissa with the purple hair, which is supposed to look like mysterious and exotic and whatnot. So all of our characters are supposed to look like different and representative of their personalities and what's going on in the game. And Eve obviously is like the bombshell. So, you know, I am a little I like the redhead, the sporty tomboy redhead. I like it, but my personal preference is a little bit more towards the mature, mommy, thick, curvilineous bombshell. I like my women big. I like my women grown, right? So technically there's going to be a 50-50. Realistically, if we give a little bit more of Eve than Jazz, you know what happened. It's just my bias. I'm sorry. It might happen. I have drawn the pictures to and the routes to be equally entertaining on both sides, and I made both of their stories rich. But again, I mean, I can't promise they are going to be equally represented. The goal is they are, but if they aren't, you know, don't hold it against me. Well, I started making a podcast about nothing, where we were just going to explain what's going on with Bloodlust, and I ended up making a massive podcast. It's probably close to 1 hour again. So yeah, if you guys have any more questions for me, I will be more than glad to answer them. If not, man, I think it was a pretty good podcast. I'm pretty tired, gonna take a shower and go to sleep. But yeah, listen, I appreciate everybody that showed up today. It's always great when the chat is live and people are participating. If this is because of the time, I wouldn't mind like pushing the podcast like an hour later, just to be able to have more people in the chat. It's always good to be able to talk to you guys, and this is only the 7th episode of this season. Feels weird because honestly we've been here every week, so it feels weird that we only have been doing this for a month and a half. Time is literally flying by, so 7 definitely feels short considering that we haven't missed a single week. I mean, last week we delayed it from Monday to Wednesday, but other than that, it's been great being able to do the podcast every week. So yeah, next week we're gonna have Bloodlust. I need to take the Wednesday after that off to do some personal life stuff, and then we're going to go straight to Journey Abroad, and hopefully that in March we have a massive patch for Journey Abroad with some anti-scenes already. We want to be able to make the player meet all the characters. And luckily we are already doing some of the groundwork for Journey Abroad while making Bloodlust, because like we said before, some of the locations are shared, so we can use the maps. And the university has been a massive headache, because I had to create a bunch of assets for it. The main gate, the roads, all of it is what's it called, parallaxed. So just to give you guys an idea, spoiler alert again. Give me a second. This is the right one. Let me just delete a bunch of this so that we can make room for the other stuff that we're gonna add. So this is just to give you guys an idea. Like, regular maps do not look like this. And you know what's sad about this? This map is gonna be in the game for a total of one scene. This is what annoys me. This map is going to be in the game for a grand total of like 2 minutes. And then she wakes up, and then basically the lights change and whatnot. All of this is made in Photoshop. A lot of these assets were created specifically for the game, like the outfit, the bag. The stairs were created specifically for this game. A lot of what you see there, it was created specifically for this game. And you're going to be seeing this is the real apartment from Eve, and then she's going to move into the apartment complex where all the teachers live. Same thing here. This is going to be Jess's bathroom in her house before she moves into Brooke's apartment. And yeah, this map also took me like 2 or 3 hours to make, and you're going to be seeing it for a grand total of 5 minutes on the first day. That kind of stuff kind of stings. And obviously, like, I know you guys have played other RPG Maker games. You know the difference between the quality of most of those maps versus the quality of our maps, and you know the amount of work that goes into making something like this. So spoilers. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this, man. I really hope that the studios don't die, because oh man, we have so many great games to release. Please, I hope people support us, because we have so much great stuff to release, man. It's crazy. Well, that hour went fast as fuck, like Foster said. And you guys are saying thanks for another great pod. Love the teasers, man. Thank you guys for a great podcast. This one is on you. Every time you guys show up and come up with the questions and participate, it becomes a lot easier to do the podcast, and it's always a pleasure to chat with you guys. Like, a real pleasure. I had so much fun doing the podcast today. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will next week we're gonna have the podcast. Oh no, I already said I won't listen. Hey, I got stuff to do during the day, but I won't miss the podcast. I will be there next week. And listen, we're gonna try and do another podcast at like 7:45, 8 p.m. Portugal, which was the time that we did today. And then we're gonna let you guys decide if that's a better time for you. And if it is, I will start doing the podcast always at this time. So yeah, it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for showing up once again. Next week we're gonna have Bloodlust. I'm super close to finishing the Christmas patch. I just need to put the soundtrack in every little corner of the game. So who knows? I might be able to release it this weekend, or maybe like if I want to be responsible, I'll wait for Monday where Isaac is going to be on the office and have him run through the game. And actually make sure that there's no bugs and whatnot, so that we can release the final version like we did with the Shota one, which is basically make sure that when we release it, it's final. So yeah, Zion said the issue is that we have bad marketing. Yeah, we're gonna try and make better marketing once we have like playable demos for both our games. Obviously, the best way to find information about our games is either following our patrons or Discord, or usually I share stuff on Twitter. But I will try to get the information out. I will try to ask fellow devs to share that we are working on a new game, make a public demo, and hopefully get a bunch of support. So we'll see. Yeah, and same time next week. I got a lot of stuff to do, but I'll try to like do everything that I need to do. Maybe try to get a little nap, quick nap when I get home, just to re-energize, and then at the same time. So it will be kind of like 8 p.m. GMT, basically the same time that we did it today. We'll see about it. But yeah, thank you everyone so much for the support. It means so much. I hope to see you guys next week. It's always fun to do the podcast when you guys are participating. Love you so much. Love you guys. Much health, much love. Everything else, we go and get it. Peace out, guys. Take care.
Okite 思い出したのは君のことです